Hey everybody, it's the Sibling Politics, and welcome back to another video, episode 2, History of Government. So,
Okay, so what do you think the first governments are?
well, Donald Trump.
No. And for all those looking at the timeline, yes, that's not exactly to scale, and it's very brief. Okay, so who do you think the first rulers were? Like, were they kings? Were they priests? Were they the normal people?
Probably kings.
There you go. The first major, one of the first major empires that at least I put on the timeline was the Assyrian Empire. And that stretched all the way from nowadays Iran to current day Israel. And even into Egypt a little bit. They were ruled by a king, but the guy above the king was actually the priest, because he knew how to interpret all the normal signs. And then we have the Greek city-states in 1796 BC, and they were the first real forms of democracy. The first Greek city-state was Athens. And democracy was a loose term, because people like you and other girls couldn't vote. I couldn't vote because I would be a foreigner. So only Greek men of a certain age could vote. So it was a very, very selective democracy. And then the Greek city-states were all founded between 1796 and 600 BC. In 753 BC, down there, is when Rome was founded. Now Rome, what do you think Rome was when it was first founded?
Oh.
What type of government? Was it a monarchy, a republic?
Monarchy?
Nope. Well, kind of. It was a monarchy at first, but then the people rebelled and they set up a republic. And so the Roman Republic lasted for a long time. Now in 264, just for some reference, 753 is when Roman Republic was founded. 264 was when the First Punic War happened. And that was when the Romans faced off against the Carthaginians in the First Punic War. And then later the Second Punic War, which is more well known with Hannibal and all that. And then all the way in 31 BC, the Roman Empire is formed after Octavian defeated Mark Antony in Greece. Now we go to 0 AD, bottom timeline. Now, yes, this timeline is a lot, less. Mainly because there's a lot of significant events that happen in AD, not necessarily BC. In 476, Rome falls to the Ostrogothic kingdom. Now the Ostrogoths and other kingdoms, what do you think they were? Monarchs?
Yep.
Okay, you were actually correct. Yes, they are monarchs. So that means, do you know what a monarchy is?
No.
A monarchy is where you have a king and a queen. And the king is the ruler of the entire country. And then if he has a son, his son becomes the ruler after he dies.
Wow.
And then the Frankish kingdom is formed in 481 AD. And then 1066, which hopefully everybody should know, is the Battle of Hastings, which is where William the Conqueror crossed the English Channel and was defeated. Or won. I can't remember. One of the two. Anyways. This is why we're not a history channel, we're a government channel. 17, and that is the formation, or the beginning formation of the English kingdom. Now, from 1066 to 1776, a fun 710 years, generally most stuff stays the same. You have mostly kingdoms run by kings and monarchs, and stuff is generally following the status quo, with the exception of the Dutch, who turned into more of a republic/democracy earlier on than the rest. And the Swiss, but the Swiss are just weird. So, 1776 rolls around. Do you know what happens in 1776?
Everybody dies?
No. The United States government is formed, which is the first constitutional republic, as far as anybody knows, in history. Now, the reason they chose to do that, and not a democracy, is because in a democracy you can have mob rule. But in a republic, you vote for people to come and do stuff. So we vote for senators and representatives to go represent us in our government. Now, in 1789, the French had their revolution. That was against their king, because the French were tired of being taxed so much like the people in the United States. And then in 1918, all the way down there at the end, is the Russian Revolution. Now, the Russian Revolution took out the last great monarch, one of the last great monarchs in Europe, which was the Tsar of Russia. That was Peter. Yes, Tsar Peter. And then that is when the Bolsheviks came and the Soviet Union was formed. And that is a very brief history of government. We might go more in depth at different times if you guys want. Comment below and let us know. And as always,
we will see you in the next video. Bye!